Hello, my friends, and let's go straight to this very interesting topic. Ukraine got the access to the secret documents of the Russian brand new type of the submarine Knyaz Pozharsky. Indeed, it's like a new generation of the submarines. Project 955A. It is very silent and it is capable to absorb even sonar waves, partially. And at the same time, it is very devastative, able to carry 30 of ICBMs. Special Russian Bulava 30 missiles able to fly for 10,000 kilometers. So potentially Russia may reach any point in the world deploying those submarines. It may sneak silently somewhere and launch those missiles. The idea for Russia is to launch missiles underwater, and this is what differs Russian submarines actually, because they have this technology to create this some sort of the air bubble around the missiles, so there is no friction between missile and the water, so submarine is secure underneath. And yeah, we have lots of the reports about this case. Ukraine hacks Putin's nuclear submarine, explosives data captured. Yeah, it was not the data leak, no, it was the Ukrainian GUR operation. The military intelligence hacked Russian military servers. Because before, you may see it here in May, there was the major leak of the Russian nuclear facilities. They were discovered, exposed in internet by Russians themselves because of their, let's say, neglectance. How did it happen? Well, those third-party companies who work with the Russian army, they exposed everything of that on the Russian government publics, openly accessible, and journalists accessed this information. It was published actually for many months openly, and everyone could get it for free. It really shows how mighty Russia protects its very sensitive data about nuclear facilities, infrastructure, which has been built for the country's security. But yeah, with the submarine case, Ukraine had to hack the servers of Russia. It was a successful operation done by Ukrainian military intelligence. Those guys are damn serious. So not just they use drones in Crimea or something like that. No, they are full in, even with net running experience. So I can say, yeah, those are the really awesome news. Yeah, sorry, my voice is different today because I'm experimenting with some of my mics in collection. Oh my god, here we go. We have Dmitry Medvedev, alcoholic Medvedev, who was silent for many days, but now he speaks again. The Russian Foreign Ministry's statements of the withdrawal of the moratorium of the deployment of medium and short-range missiles is the result of the NATO countries' anti-Russian policy. This is the new reality. All of our opponents will have to reckon with. Expect further steps. And this is the population map of Russia. It was posted not by Dmitry Medvedev, it was posted by someone in internet. And here you can see where Russians live. So St. Petersburg, Moscow, and nearby. Mostly, yeah, the rest are inhabited areas. So who should be afraid of the possible usage of the nuclear weaponry? In the United States, it's a different picture. People do not live in a couple of the cities. No. So again, we see the escalation from Dmitry Medvedev. And Dmitry Medvedev is just one more voice of Vladimir Putin. He says something that Putin himself cannot say. Well, kind of the interesting document we have here published by the Russian intelligence. So British intelligence agencies are preparing an environmental disaster in international waters. Here they say that Ukrainian and British intelligence are working together to organize attacks on the Russian shuttle fleet tankers in international waters. So here they say that NATO allies want to deploy a mass raid on the shadow fleet. The execution of both attacks, London intends to instruct the Ukrainian security forces. So Brits will control the operation and Ukraine will execute it. Well, I think that Russia itself is preparing the false flag operation against their own tankers in Gulf of Finland or Baltic Sea. They would say that those are Brits or Ukrainians attack their tankers, which could be used as the major provocation for the further military escalation, even against the NATO countries. And you know that military drills are coming very soon on Belarus territory with the Russian and Belarus soldiers. And we know how Russia started the full-scale war, also from the military drills, which lasted, I think, for a couple of months. And after it, Russian forces went to Ukraine. Some of the Russian soldiers definitely thought that they are still in the military drills. So yeah, this is not a good sign, and I see some pro-Ukrainian channels, they also concerned about it. For example, Enforcer here also says that it could be a false flag provocation against NATO. 100% it could be if Russia publishes those kind of the documents. Well, guys, this is huge. Donald Trump is really angry on India, maybe because of his own personal reasons, but here is the statement. India is not only buying massive amounts of Russian oil, they are then... Who constructs those sentences? It's hard to read those. Anyways, they are then for much of the oil purchases selling it on open market for big profits. Okay, they don't care how many people in Ukraine are being unalived by a Russian war machine. Donny! I think Donny himself didn't care, or maybe he doesn't care even now. If Donny cared, he would let all of the military support to go for Ukraine. He wouldn't tell that Zelensky is the greatest salesman of all time. No. And just remember how he blocked the military support for Ukraine, even not being the president. And Joe Biden was the president, and Donny blocked everything through Congress. Yeah, why Mike Johnson as well. I guess they were blocking the help for 6 or 8 months. I don't actually remember, but it was crucial for Ukraine. And because of this pause in military support, Ukraine actually lost Avdiivka. So, Donny, please look at yourself more than you speak about others, yeah? Yeah, I'm not saying that India is good, no. They are purchasing really Russian oil. Here, Donny is correct, but Donny himself should do more if he really cares about Russian machine. Russian machine is not out there only in Ukraine. It is big and it is capable to conduct provocations against allies, of NATO allies of the United States of America, maybe against USA themselves somewhere. So anyways, because of this Russian war machine, I will be substantially raising the tariff paid by India to the United States of America. Thank you for attention to this matter, President GDT. If you want to know my honest opinion, yeah, as I say to you, Donny doesn't care about the destiny of Ukraine. Really, he's using Ukraine as an excuse in his own personal games with India. It is just a coincidence that for Ukraine it has been profitable, yeah. And I just sincerely hope that Donny will push India. Officially, India says that they will continue to purchase Russian oil. Modi said about it himself, Prime Minister of India. But at the same time, Indian oil companies, they're starting to purchase more of the United States-produced oil, Canada-produced oil, so it's a good sign actually. Chinese officials also confirmed that they will continue to purchase Russian oil, but for China it's understandable. On India, I think United States, they have some of the lever. Oh my god, who is this? Alexander Dugin, probably you know who he is. Yes, the ideologist of the Russian world or the Russian peace. So what he says that I come to a very sad conclusion. Donald Trump is totally mad. It is a shame. We loved him. Well, Dugin, for your info, there's the thin line between love and hate. Yeah, it's the name of the Iron Maiden song. So then yesterday I told about the end of the romance between Putin and Donald Trump. Actually, it included some of the love, so definitely I was right. And yeah, this is the official statement of the government of India. They say that they have been targeted by the United States and the European Union for importing oil from Russia after the commencement of the Ukrainian conflict. Indeed, India, what the hell are you doing? Why are you purchasing the Russian oil? And they do it on a large scale. And definitely Donny is right. They're selling the part of the oil on the open market. Well, at the same time, they start to blame European Union for purchasing also Russian energy and everything. Yeah, it's not a good thing too, but Europe, little by little, they canceling purchasing Russian fossil fuels. It's a long procedure which could be accomplished in a couple of years. I don't like that it is happening as well, but for India, yeah, I think United States, they may press the country and force it to purchase American oil, maybe, or oil from American partners. Like, after all, Qatar and Saudi Arabia, they're partners of the United States because United States, they have their own bases in those countries. Here we have it from China. China pushes back at United States demands to stop buying Russian and Iranian oil. So they will continue to do it, but for China, it's understandable. They're the close ally of Russia, at least temporary. Well, at the same time, China is preparing for one more military drills not far away from Taiwan. Chinese media on Monday released for the first time an amphibious landing exercise of PLA, showing an aircraft carrier group providing support for landing ships and drones. So yeah, aviation, some of the airplanes flying helicopters, kabooms, everything is there. Mighty Chinese army. All right. I would say for now it's just a show, and if China decides to attack Taiwan, it would be their biggest mistake possible. Because the probability for the success in this case is pretty much low. Because potentially it would be not just the biggest landing operation in the human history, but in general, the biggest military operation in the human history, conducted really far away from the land. It's very, very difficult to do, and for army without real military experience, I think it's no-go. It could be similar to the Russian disaster in Ukraine back in 2022. Alright guys, now let's go back to Ukraine because I'm a little deviating from the main topic of the video. So here is the Russian Shahid, which was spotted yesterday. And what is interesting here that you may see the bomb shells under both of the wings. So not just they carry the explosives in the front part, in the nose part, but they also carry the explosives under the wings. And that's how it looks like. So the name of the device is the KTM-3. It is the cluster munition shell. Well, basically there are two clusters, but this shell is used usually against armored vehicles. There is the magnetic actuator inside, so it needs iron to kaboom. But maybe Russians modernized the shell to kaboom from different things. But yeah, the thing that Russia comes out with absolutely new things on their Shahids, this is not good for us, my friends, especially if they'll start the production massively of the jet engine Shahids. In this case, it would be really hard for Ukraine to intercept those because they will be flying at the very high speeds. Plus, we have the forecast for this year that Russia will be capable to produce 1,000 Shahids per day. They're opening the new factory out there in Russia, plus one more in North Korea. So North Korea could supply those Shahids back to Russia to be used against Ukraine. And the idea for Russia is just to terrorize Ukrainian society, for Ukrainians to beg for peace, and for them to understand that peace is possible only if they call themselves Russians and surrender to Russia. But it will never happen. It's again crazy idea of the sick Vladimir Putin. Here we go with one more evidence. So the Shahid drone was downed, and here are those shells which didn't detonate. And the same box you may actually find over here. This is the Russian Lancet drone. This is the shell which is used against armored vehicles and tanks. So here those shells actually have the reasons to be, because they're used against the armored vehicles. Maybe Russia is using Shahids against maybe Patriot systems or something to cause more damage to those. Could be, but there is no registered case of the successful usage of the Russian Shahid drones against Ukrainian Patriots. More about Shahids. Judging on the satellite images, Russia tries to repair the part of the facilities in Donetsk airport, which was fully destroyed back in 2014. So Russia has few of the launching spots, and they used this airport to strike Ukraine with Shahids. But because Donetsk is not that far away from the front lines, I guess Ukraine may use its own drones or maybe HIMARS to strike Russian launchers there. At least we already know the positions of those, so I expect that Ukraine might strike Russian launchers very soon. Absolutely great news are coming from Netherlands. Yeah, great. Netherlands will allocate €500 million to purchase some of the missiles for Ukrainian Patriot systems. Well, Ukraine needs PAC-3, the most expensive, actually, missiles to shut down Russian ballistic targets. Every missile may cost up to $3 million. Also, you have logistics to deliver them to Ukraine. So it's very, very expensive. And Netherlands, thank you so much for helping Ukraine in this very hard time. Because of you, there will be many more drones and missiles shut down over Ukrainian skies. You'll first of all save lots of the civilian lives. Actually, Netherlands became the first country to support Ukraine through the new United States initiative. So basically purchasing American weapons for the European money and sending everything to Ukraine. The program is called Prioritized Ukraine Requirements List, or PEARL. Under this program, NATO allies purchase equipment from the United States. Yeah, that's what I mentioned. And €500 million, Netherlands, that's a lot. Thank you so much for your kind support. It really, really matters. And USA, yeah, thank you for producing those awesome PAC-3 missiles which Ukraine will use against those Russian targets. All right, more political news. We have Keith Kellogg is up to visit Kiev, but at the same time, Vitkov is flying to Moscow once again. Vitkov is expected to arrive to Moscow on 6th of August, so in a couple of days or in one day, depends on when you watch this video. Well, Donald Trump in one of his latest interviews said that Russia demanded or asked for the meeting with Vitkov, and Trump agreed on that. It was not the proposal of Donny to send Vitkov. It's something new. Probably Russians prepare for the final attempt to brainwash Vitkov completely. Because even before, Vitkov was just repeating Russian narratives that Ukraine should surrender its territories and that NATO was the main factor for Russia to start the war. Remember how he attended the Tucker Carlson podcast. Basically, it was the translation of the Putin's words into English done by Vitkov. Pretty much precisely, I would say. So would Donald Trump change his opinion after this meeting? There is the chance for it, but he would look like a fool if he does it. Like if he wouldn't apply sanctions on Russia, like all those days, 50 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, people would call him Taka once again, so he'll have to apply sanctions after all. Now, Ukraine again hit some sort of the railroad in Rostov region, but the fire itself there, I don't think it's a big one. Maybe some of the equipment was damaged and Russia will have to fix it at first to operate the railroad. But little by little, Ukraine is disturbing Russian supplies, especially in Rostov region, the region which is bordering Ukraine and used by Russia as the main supply hub for everything in Ukraine, especially if we speak about the eastern front lines. Now, every day we have some girls in our videos, so here is Luisa Rozova, the illegitimate daughter of Vladimir Putin, as many say. She wrote the post on her social media, "It's so nice to show my face to the world again." She should definitely disappear for a long time. There is no proof that she's definitely the daughter of Putin, but lots of the media reported that she really is. There was also misinformation published that she wrote that Putin ruined her life as well as the lives of thousands of other people. I wasn't able to find it in her social media. Well, at the same time, she took part in anti-war exhibitions, for example, in Paris. What is 100% that she doesn't have direct support from Putin. She's not communicating with her potentially father. But she and her mother, they live okay, like they have money and everything. On those earlier photos, she definitely looked like Putin. So if I really find something interesting about her, I'll tell you for sure, but now it's hard to judge her attitude towards probably her own father. And my friends, please don't forget to check out my other videos on my channel, Dennis Davydov. There I film about the front lines updates as well. And yesterday, Ukraine struck the Saki military airfield in Crimea, according to Ukrainian officials. So everything of that I'm telling on this channel. So check out the recent updates, and they're only possible because of your support on Patreon. With your help, you motivate me to film more and more. So please join my Patreon. The link for it is in the video description below. If you can't, I encourage you to press the like to this video. By doing so, you also help to boost this video in YouTube algorithms. My friends, I wish you all a peaceful sky wherever you are, and have a great time.